Today we are going to look at section 7.3, which involves, again, absolute values, and we are going to look at solving absolute value equations. And you can see in this activity what we're going to do is we're going to look at multiple answer options for each absolute value. If you look at the first one, the absolute value of x minus 2 equals 5, what values of this will make it true? And there's two ways you could do it. One is to plug and check. For instance, if I take minus 3 and I put that in for x, minus 3 minus 2 is minus 5, and the absolute value of minus 5 is 5. So that's definitely an answer. And you could check all of these and determine which are the answers. You can do that mentally, and you can do that fairly quickly. But another option for us is to graph this absolute value. So the absolute value graph is the blue line, which is slightly highlighted there. And then we have this red line, and you might think, well, where does this red line come from? Well, all that the red line is if I erase the right-hand side of the equation and I color it green, it's the line y equals 5. So if I draw that in, I get y equals 5. And if you notice where the absolute value equals that and where they intersect, that there are, oh, my board is a little off here, it's okay. Where they intersect the x-axis corresponds to the answers that will work. For instance, on the left-hand side, it intersects at minus 3. We know minus 3 is an answer. Over here, my line is off, but it would intersect at 7, because 7 take away 2 is 5, and the absolute value of 5 is going to be 5. Let's look at one that's more difficult to do in our heads. The absolute value of 2x minus 4 equals 8x plus 4. What values would make that true? Well, again, we could guess and test, or we could go with the graphing method, which is shown here. We have the blue line. It represents the absolute value of 2x minus 4 equaling 8x plus 4. And then we have just 8x plus 4 right there. Where do the two intersect? Well, they intersect right there. What's that x value? 0. That is the only answer for this absolute value. 0 is the only number. And we can check. 2 times 0 is 0. Minus 4 is negative 4. The absolute value minus 4 is 4. Similarly, on the right-hand side, you'll get an answer of 4. So again, just looking at the bottom here, you should be able to quickly look at this absolute value down here. How many answers are there? 2, because the red line intersects the blue twice. What are they? We would look at the x values as those go down, and you would get your answers. Similarly here, how many answers are there? 2. What are they? They're the x values when they intersect. Now that takes a little bit of work, and we don't necessarily want to always do that. Let's go ahead and look at some other questions here. I want to see if I can go back here to, sorry, just give me a second. That is not what I wanted to do here. Oh yeah, I figured out my problem. Here we go. We're going to look at a question together. The absolute value of n minus 8 equals 20. Again, guessing and testing here makes a lot of sense. What number take away 8 is 20? Well, that answer is 28. That's not very hard for us to do. So clearly, 28 is part of the answer, but we should check, are there more? And does minus 12 work? Is minus 12 minus 8? Well, it's minus 20. Sure, that will work either way. So that this could equal two different things. That could be the absolute value of 28 or the absolute value of minus 12. Either one would be sufficient for this question. So we check at it. Yeah, that's the right answer. Well, let's go ahead and do another question. The absolute value of 2x minus 7 equals 21. Well, that one's not quite as easy to do, and we do have answers to check, but we won't always have that. So what really can we say here? Well, we could say 2x minus 7 could equal 21, or 2x minus 7 could equal minus 21. And if we solve each of these just using our basic algebra skills, we're going to get 14, I believe, minus 14. No, positive 14. Here, if I add 7, I get minus 14 divided by 2 is minus 7. So there's two answers here. minus 14, or positive 14 and minus 7. Check if we're right. Yes, we're good to go. And they will continue to get harder. How do we deal with this beauty, where 2x minus 3 equals x minus 3? Again, checking because you have the answers would make a lot of sense, but we don't always have the answers. How are we going to deal with it? Well, we make it equal to both the positive version, so we're going to make it equal to positive x minus 3, or we can say that 2x minus 3 would equal negative x. I'm running out of space there. Let me write that a little bit smaller. Negative x minus 3. And you would solve each of those. And each of those would get us two answers. So I already know there's probably going to be two answers here. I'm going to guess that the two answers are going to be 2 and 0. If it will let me do that. That's the right answer. And they do get progressively harder. Same thing in this question number 4. What do? We make it equal to positive x plus 6 and negative x plus 6. And we get the answer. The other option for you too is to graph. Graph the whole absolute value and then to graph what it equals. And that would also get you the answer just like we did on this question right here. So all you need to do now is practice. Here's your assignment, and I'll be glad to help you as you work.